What's cracking, guys? Omar Esoff here. In this video today, we gotta talk about everyone's favorite topic, chest development. In particular, I get a whole lot of questions, obviously, because I do have the ass chest, the one muscle group that I got that's like, hey, well, it's not bad. And so people have been asking me since I made that video a few weeks ago about the only isolation exercise I do and I ever really do when it comes to pec development, or more in particular, upper pec development, the low to high cable fly. People have been saying, is that enough? You know, I have a legging chest, I do a whole lot of bench press, and it just doesn't seem to grow. What can I do about that? I want to talk about that today in this video. I want to talk about whether or not just simply doing the bench press is enough for pec development, and what are the variables that determine why some individuals, I'm sure you guys have noticed this, maybe your friends, they'll just do the bench press and bench press variations, and they'll build solid pecs, good pec developments, and other individuals with the same starting base, they will have next to no minimal pec development. And there's two basic big variables, and I'm gonna give you guys some advice if you're lagging when it comes to pec development, despite benching so much, you know, for let's say a good amount of years. The two big variables are the following. One, how you bench, and two, also very importantly, that I think a lot of people overlook, is how you're built, right? Your anatomy. And here's what I mean. I've observed this a long time ago. I think I made a video 4 years ago briefly mentioning this, but the way I see it, essentially, there are people when we do a compound movement like the bench press involves, right? The pecs, the front delts, the triceps. Pretty much those are the big three right there. But there are certain individuals, when you take a look at them, they're more either torso dominant or then they're more limb dominant. And what I mean by that, it's how you're shaped. If you have slightly wider shoulders, you have more real estate up here for your pecs, what's probably going to happen, you have better origin and insertion for that muscle, is that when you do the bench press, you'll favor a grip that's probably a little bit wider. They'll recruit more of the pec itself. You'll bench in that way. You'll feel it more in your chest when you do the bench press. Other individuals, guys, they'll tend to grow arms faster than maybe their torso, so their triceps grow, their biceps. They'll be probably more close grip benchers, and what you'll see, they have maybe a more narrow shoulder width, right? They have kind of a concave chest, how it looks like, just when they start. I'm talking about just their bone structure. And they'll gravitate more towards that tricep style pressing, where it's a closer grip, more tricep dominant, less chest emphasized. And so the big problem that I see with a lot of individuals is that if they are that way, right, if they have more narrow shoulders, so they more favor using their triceps, they'll pick that grip, obviously where they're strongest, which makes complete sense, but what will happen, they play to their strengths, and so their pec will get minimal development. And that's why people, it is true, I'm going to throw up that suspiciously natty photo, the most infamous photo of myself at my leanest. This was at the end of a cut several years ago. The lighting was perfect, the angle was just right, I flexed just so, and as you can see, I have, you know, pretty complete pec development. We talk, people joke, we got like middle, upper, inner, lower, all that stuff, but basically there's just two major areas, but it's complete pec development. But in reality, all I ever did for my pec development was a whole lot of benching, some variations, and then one isolation movement that I found out I liked in 2011, the low to high cable chest fly, and that's virtually it. So big compound movements brought that chest that you see, but that's not going to be everybody. And it's just like this. This is the point that I want to make, is that if you have a legging area, you have to spend more time, more focus, you have to be more specific with what you do, and so you'll have to do more isolation movements. So let's assume that you do bench press a whole lot, but you don't feel a lot of development in your pecs. You don't feel it when you do the bench press, and you haven't seen a lot of progress in that chest area. The first thing I want to do, I'm going to link in the description the video by Alberto, how to better feel your pecs activate in the bench press itself. Keep in mind, guys, the pecs essentially have three major functions. Shoulder extension is not really relevant, bringing it down like so, so that'd be like a pullover. What we want to focus on is that horizontal adduction, and so it's all how you set your arms. If you're someone that keeps your arms more close, right, which is more tricep dominant, and then you press out kind of like that pterodactyl, as Mark Bell would say, that's far more tricep dominant. What you will see is that if you want to emphasize your chest a little bit more, you'll see typically the bar is a little bit higher, grip is a little bit wider, longer range of motion, so you can alter how you do the bench press in order to feel it more in your pecs themselves. We already know this. But what I want to say, the big thing I want to say when we ask the question, is the bench press itself sufficient for pec development? It might not be. And it might not be if you find it's a legging area for yourself. You might have to do not only variations, but more isolation work. If you have a legging muscle group, you have to do more work, focus on it, develop that mind-muscle connection. So not only do the low to high cable chest fly, but also if you want to incorporate more compound movements, a great one for pec development that I think is underrated, I should make a video on this, would be wide dips. So wide grip width dips. But also you could do cable crossovers, you could do pullovers, you could do regular chest flies. Pick at least 2 isolation movements to do on your push day and incorporate those. If the bench press is not sufficient and you're already trying other variations, such as what I'd recommend, the low incline bench press, which allows you to target the pec a little bit more, and you're still not getting that development, you just need to do more work. It's much like doing, let's say, a front squat where you want to get a little bit more quad development when it comes to your lower body. The same thing applies with the bench press. So to summarize what I've been saying, 1, the ass chest was not built in a day. It takes a whole lot of time. But some people that are more torso dominant, like myself, where my arms are a little bit smaller, but what I find will happen is that my chest will grow, my back will grow as well, is that just doing the bench press was sufficient along with 1 isolation movement to build my pec. But that's not going to be the case for a lot of you guys out there. So what you got to do, more bench press variations. I would also try and emphasize incorporating things like a dumbbell bench press. Why? Because you get a longer range of motion. You also, when you bring it down, you can bring it all the way up and together to get a little extra horizontal adduction action. So I would make sure to incorporate a variety of different movements into your training, and don't neglect doing isolation movements. One of the primary functions of doing isolation movements is also to develop that mind-muscle connection. So you do that big compound movements, you have so many different muscle groups that can be targeted in that exercise. You move on to the isolation movement to try and feel it a little bit more in that specific area. And so I listed them below. Give those ones a try. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think, if you're getting optimal pec development. Well, that is all the time we have, guys. Tune in tomorrow for another video. Final announcement I want to make is that my boy Silent Mike, he recently hit 405 on the bench press. He's running a new program, a bench program we developed, myself, Bart Kwan, and Silent Mike. Bart also ran it recently for his meet and hit a huge PR. We're thinking about releasing it for free. We have some ideas concerning what we want to do, some programs we want to develop. But if you guys want to see this bench press program, make sure to like the damn video below. If you find you're just plateaued on your bench press and you want to increase it, like the damn video and comment below. Give me that bench program. And I'll be seeing all you guys, my rascals, in that next video. Peace.